Hey, everybody. Welcome to Big Blend Radio. You just heard To the Universe. It is the title track of the latest album by Steffie Moonlady and guitarist Dennis-Haklar. I encourage you to go to their website. So SteffieMoonlady.com is Steffie. It's two F's, I-E, SteffieMoonlady.com. And also go to Dennis's website. It's Haklar. So Dennis-Haklar.com. He was on our show last year with their album Transcendence. It's not transcendence, but you can transcend. You can levitate. You can beam up. You can do what you want. But you got to have a little dance in there. But welcome back to the show, Dennis. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
And hi, Steffie. I'm so glad you joined us on this one.
So much for having me.
So you both have been doing music for what, over 20 years together?
Yeah.
Yeah, even longer. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we go back to it's kind of a long story. I started out as a audio engineer in a place called Pyramid Recording Studio in New Jersey, and that's where I met Stephanie. She came in, she started as an intern and worked her way up into engineering, and then as time went on, we got into productions. We worked with a large group of variety of artists such as Gloria Gaynor, Cool in the Gang, so we uh we cut our teeth on some pretty good, artists, and along with the local acts, and that's kind of where we met, in the recording studio.
Right.
Wow. And your sound is really it's very ethereal, but it's also very, I don't know, it's earth music, earth mama music. you know so when you start you working together on the engineering side, the production side, where does the music side come for you both? When did that start in regards to let's do albums together and create?
I don't know, somehow we just vibed, but I think that my music started in the womb because my mother was a very talented opera singer and musician. My
Oh, wow.
grandfather, composer, classical. So I started with all their influence, which brought me into the recording arts. And that's where I met Dennis. So I think that we come from a place of having a deep understanding of where music comes from and what it entails, and even like the spirituality of it, and we just connected very well on the understanding of a unique sound.
It is unique. And this
Yeah.
album, To the Universe, and that's the title track, but it's not the first track. But really, when you listen to the album, you should start at the beginning and just let it go all the way through the end. Very much like Transcendence, right?
Yeah,
Transcendence
that
was whatever you wanted it to be for you, for what you listened and how you felt, and meditate to it. Don't meditate to it. However, do yoga or don't do whatever you want. And it's just that concept of the flow. Do you guys have that?
what's
Yeah.
interesting, Lisa, is that I think that something got lost along the way when music went digital, when we started, going into the downloadable format, is that the concept albums kind of went by the wayside. So, we grew up in the era of Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, and you drop the needle on one side, you let it play, and then you drop the needle on the other side, you let the whole thing, and
And no
there's
one talk in between,
there's no
like I
talk.
just did.
Get lost. You just get lost in the
You
music,
dream, yeah.
and yeah, you dream. You transcend into another sphere, and that's kind of what we try to do with our productions. So we come from that era, and
Right.
we try to recreate that. Now, granted, you can take any slice of it and present it accordingly. We had that in mind too, because we realized we can't make a 27-minute song and expect that it's going to stream on Spotify because it just won't. So
What, that would be supersizing it.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
kind of how I feel the whole thing is. It's like, here's your single. Oh, you get two for one, or you know what I mean? And it's like, then if you want the whole album, you've supersized yourself. It's almost like fast food what they're doing. Like,
exactly, yeah, exactly,
it's
yeah,
weird. I don't, to me, I want the album. I want to hear the whole thing,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
And see, that's another thing, is that when you have the CD, it was a physical product, and you could put it into your CD player, and you would listen to it from start to finish. When you stream it, it either gets interrupted by advertisements or what have you, and it takes you out of the flow. So I still like to listen to CDs. I just put the CD in my
Albums,
play.
CDs. Hey, our car, we travel across the country full time, and our car has been all over. She's
Yeah,
crisscrossed the country 4 times this year and about to do a big up to the north and back down again.
Oh,
And
nice.
I have a CD player and it's starting to get worn out, like it won't work and then it will. And I'm like, I am keeping this car and I'm keeping the CD player. It's
I just lost mine. He still has
you
his.
can't get cars with a CD player anymore.
fan of the Volkswagen bus, the old fashioned Volkswagen buses, and so there was one up the road that she was looking at,
Oh,
thinking about getting,
I can't even
to
drive
go,
it.
yeah, yeah. But what's interesting is that in the dashboard there was a cassette
Yeah,
player,
those little
like an old
cassette.
school
I
cassette
loved
You,
player,
it. Yeah.
do
and
you
we're like,
remember
yeah,
making tapes where we tape things together? Like, oh, it's stretched, tape it, put in the, I used to have a freezer of tapes just, because they got stretched and you could freeze
right,
them, defrost them, and it helped, it do surgery, you know.
right,
I
That's great.
remember ripping off the radio stations and recording off the radio, you
yeah,
Yeah.
know, and they'd sit there and the DJ would talk over the end or the beginning of the song. I'm like, shut up,
yeah, right,
don't ruin it.
ruined it.
Yeah, I'm like, it's the original bootlegging, you
Yeah,
know?
right,
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. So tell me about the instruments, Steffi, and the singing. You're doing the vocal parts?
doing the vocal parts, and it's a very complex, like, layering technique.
Mm.
I'm going to say there's probably like, I don't know how many vocal tracks on one song. Dennis would know, but I'll do a vocal track and then I'll make sure I harmonize with it. And then I'll do the background, I'll harmonize with the background. Then I'll harmonize with the synthesizers. Then it's just a whole, getting a nice big sound. I always go back to, again, my childhood when I'm trying to get a sound, because like I grew up in church choir, and my grandfather was the organist of a cathedral.
Oh, wow.
Mother sang, from that balcony. So I'm used to getting that old big Gothic sound. And I mean, I don't think I have even accomplished getting it yet. But, we try to get close to making it, you know, um, angelic and
Yeah, it is. It's very ethereal to me.
in the
And
state.
mystical and
Yeah,
mystical. I like
yeah.
that part. To me, the mystical part allows you to have a different experience every time you listen.
And I do, I studied acting for a while, so I always have that in my head where I am in my scene. I'm not singing just to like have a note come out. It's emotional for me. Like I'm in my place. I'm in that character. I feel that feeling. I don't even think I can get a note out if I'm not feeling the feeling.
Okay, so then you're in the zone.
I'm in the zone.
Yeah. So to the universe, listening to the music's very nature. And Nancy's all like, we want to do like nature. We need to put nature videos and do all that, because we've got so many, so much visual footage. We got gators. They want to be in there too. Why not?
The backyard sometimes.
And you've got, yeah, I know you're in Orlando area. So you got the gators, you got the butterflies are out right now in Florida, which is magic. It's like the second wildflower season and butterflies. And so it's awesome. But, you know, listening to it and to the universe, speaking of nature, is that part of the concept for you, is putting out something for the universe? Because like right now, today as we're recording, the Sequoia National Forest and Kings Canyon are on fire. We've had so many wildfires. We've had, California, Oregon, hurricanes, and then we've got the whole pollution and, losing our topsoil, climate change. I mean, we're basically like attacking Mother Earth in
Yes,
just a really
absolutely.
Yeah,
terrible form. So when just even the title, before I even listened, I was like, oh, to the universe. It's like a love letter.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And you nailed it. I mean, that's basically what we're trying to get across to people, to like be kind, be kind to the host planet that keeps you alive. And it's just it's all those things that you mentioned are happening, and it's really sad.
Mm. Well,
yeah. Everything's intention. So this album is just really about just love for the earth and your intention to the universe, of like when you pray to the stars, the moon, to whatever you do. I mean, you pray to the entity, God. You have to pray from kindness, from love, for compassion, for humanity. And I think that, I believe that your positive energy helps. I really do.
well, it
Really.
certainly feels better. And then that's the positive ripple, right? Because everything has that ripple and domino effect. And so I prefer ripple effect than dominoes. Dominoes have edges, and I don't like the edge. I want the ripple. It's round and cool. But I wanted to ask, what do you think about trees? The importance of trees?
Oh, I love trees because I grew up in, half this album is about the backyard I grew up in, because I had such beautiful mature trees in my yard, including the cherry blossom, which is
Featured
Oh,
on
dream
Blossom. Yeah,
blossom.
Dream Blossom is
And
about
that
that.
was just my sanctuary, and I had deer back there, and I just watched those trees grow and
where is
grow.
this?
This was in New Jersey.
New
This
Jersey. Okay.
Jersey. I had such a beautiful yard there, and I was so attached to those trees. Like I meditate next to those trees on a daily basis, under the moon on a daily basis, and I'm a tree hugger. Like I'll hug the trees.
Okay. So I bring this up all for Nancy, who wants to bring this to you. So Nancy, and here right now where we're recording, and this will air on actually when we get to Florida, it will be airing. But right now we're in Georgia, in Peachtree City, and I'm overlooking a forest of trees. They got
Wow.
the big longleaf pines, and then the loblolly trees. I will get it right at some point, but they're beautiful and tall. And there's owls that you can hear at dusk and dawn.
Oh,
There's two that you can hear in the neighborhood here, and deer, everything you're talking about with that. But anyway, they've got a magnolia tree on this property, and we're like, most magnolia trees, you see this, the trunk and then the tree at the top, especially if they're playing landscaping, oh, we must, do this and manicure the tree, because nature apparently doesn't know how. But anyway, no, but that's important. I won't be rude. But anyway, so what they've done here is allowed the magnolia to be the magnolia, and all these suckers, and I didn't even know this, other than I do trip out when I see a magnolia in the wild, which I've seen in Louisiana and Arkansas and Florida, because out in the West where we lived, you only see magnolias in the city where they're all trimmed and done accordingly and manicured, and you don't see them in the wild. But anyway, this magnolia tree here, she allowed them all the suckers to just pop up as they were. So it's got this giant skirt. It almost looks like a Christmas tree in the pyramid kind of shape, right? Kind of goes with your album cover, just say. But you're back to the pyramids again. So it's got this giant skirt, and you can go in, and it's like this alcove, this little cave of tree cave.
Okay.
And you can sit in there. So anyway, the tree exercise is this. You go to your favorite tree. If you can get down on the ground on your hands and knees, just so you're grounded with the tree, right? Roots. You put your hand on the tree, so your palm is right there on the tree trunk. You breathe, slow down your breathing until you can feel the heartbeat of the tree, and it aligns with your heartbeat. And that's Nancy's tree exercise for everyone. She wants people to do this.
yeah.
Because we are part tree DNA.
I mean, you think about the trees, they're grounded to the earth. They have a whole environment inside them. They grow, they blossom, they give you shelter, they give you beauty, they need energy from the sun. We're part of that. We're a part of the tree.
Yeah.
We're connected.
Yeah. This is cool. So now, Dennis, you're from New York or New Jersey as well?
I'm also from New Jersey. Yeah.
Okay, we only got over there. We went on a bridge all of a sudden from Easton, Pennsylvania, and suddenly they said we were in New Jersey. We're like, oh, hello.
Yeah, I know that bridge. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, it was like, oh, here we are. But anyway, we'll go back at some point. But talking about trees, and
the leaves turning and everything.
Yeah, fall is beautiful.
Yeah.
well, we're going to be in Pennsylvania in the next
Yeah.
in November, so maybe we'll drive through New Jersey just to do it.
Yeah.
But the trees are a big deal. And I bring this up because as soon as I listen to your music, it connects. And also, so now I'm going to air this on our fourth Tuesday tree show. We have a tree talk show just on trees.
Okay.
Because planting more trees is actually what can really save the climate. The whole climate crisis can be averted by trees. And American Forests created this tree equity tool. You can go on their map. I think it's treeequity.org. Go to American Forest website, our website. You'll find it in the interview with them. You go on this map and you can see where you live on the map. Click on it, put your zip code in and all that stuff, and it'll tell you what your tree equity is. And you get a tree score to see if you need more trees in your neighborhood. And what they found across the country, and this is like this huge thing they did through satellites and all of this, that basically in areas that don't have the funding, or if you are living in an African American neighborhood or neighborhoods of color, you do not have enough trees, because basically everybody else got trees because that's where the funding went. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And so we across the country, if we put the trees where they belonged, our health would improve and our planet would be diverse, and we'd have a ton more jobs, millions of jobs. So, thanks for letting me carry on about trees.
Oh,
We love
absolutely.
trees.
Yeah.
Well, no, but it is part of it. With your music, I think it's
You
all
can hear,
part of that.
listen to the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Earth's wind.
Earth's
Earth's
wind.
wind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wind is listen to the trees, listen to the wind, because that's what I grew up doing.
Mm. And it's the season for that, fall. Do you get the wind in Orlando? Like the
We do.
fall wind?
Yeah.
We get
Yeah, hurricane
hurricanes.
winds.
Oh yeah, duh. What am I thinking of? Like, yeah, duh. And I've been through
Where do
them.
we get winds?
Yeah, of course you do. When you get wind, you don't play around,
Right.
But yeah, absolutely. We used to live in Florida, and we've been through some of the hurricanes here, and then you also have rainforest too on there.
Yeah.
So you are tree people. So
Yeah. People.
when you put this together, did you go, okay, we're going to do something for the universe, for the planet Mother Earth, and start writing it on that platform? Or do you hear the music first? Because you're not writing lyrics, right? So,
I wrote lyrics.
well, yeah, to me, it doesn't, there's lyrics, but
Yeah.
yeah, how do you,
know.
everyone has to listen to the whole thing. It's more of a
Yeah. Yeah.
universal sound, you know?
I think I actually started the album on the concept of feeling very emotional for the indigenous.
Mm,
And I think in doing so, a lot of my own background and my own, where I come from came out as well. So that brought me to the blossoms and the trees and the this and that. But then there's a lot of like native indigenous aspect, because that was my original intention, to bring attention to what these indigenous are going through on a daily basis, and their discrimination, and how they have to fight so hard for their land and for their culture and to be respected. And that's what really moved me to start this to the universe.
mm. And if anyone understands nature, there we go. The coexistence, right? So you start on that platform, and then are you writing music when you do like actual notations, or you just start recording?
It's a complex process. So the way that we work together is that she will present the concept to me in the form of her poetry, and I sit with it and try to envision the concept of what like the what you're evoking emotionally and spiritually and everything else. So I dive into that, and then I just sit with my chords, with my guitar, and I play with it until something strikes. And then once it does, I'll start to, make notes and, notate what the chords are, or what the note, configuration is. Or sometimes, like for instance, on the track Dream Blossom, she told me that she wanted to evoke the feeling of the beautiful cherry blossoms, and try to come out with that feeling. So I was thinking to myself, well, that's kind of like a Japanese tree, isn't it? So I felt that I should try something in a Japanese modality. So there's this beautiful scale called the Hirajashi scale, which is an ancient scale, but it's something that not many people use. So I took the notes of that scale and I started experimenting with how I can arrange them in a texture so that it would evoke that feeling. And then after that, I took my nylon string guitar and started playing some melodic phrases, also in thinking Oriental. I'm not Oriental, obviously, but trying to come out with the diving into that headspace.
It's the root of the tree. It's its heritage. And
Yeah.
that connects the people again, when
Yeah.
you think of it. And the music, that's what's interesting about your guitar work on this, because it's, to me, very, and I think we even talked about the last time you were on the show, Dennis, is that your music is very circular, which
Mm.
is how nature works, right? It's that cyclical circles, energy doesn't die. So there's a circular. I know people are going to think I'm tripped out or something the way I'm talking today about this, but there's a, so there's a circular vibe, right? But then your guitar comes in and plays around it, but adds these extra notes of dynamic. There's like sounds of finality, sounds of like it brings in a certain rhythm. And all of a sudden you'll hear like an electric guitar that will be like, I will say it, we talk about Pink Floyd, it's got the whale sound. We call it the whale sound. So
Yeah.
here comes the whales. And then all of a sudden, boom, that's it. Ding. Or you know what I mean? So it's really interesting how you use the guitar to bring in the dynamic and kind of, otherwise you're just floating. You have this. Does that make sense with
Absolutely, because what I'm trying to do myself personally, what I'm trying to do is to create mental pictures with sonic. So I'm painting sonically.
yeah.
I'm doing. So when you experience the full, dynamics of what's happening, as you say, you'll hear that little subtle guitar come in for just a second or whatever. But it took you somewhere, and it's like if you're looking out at the ocean and you'll see that porpoise just come up for just a second. Oh,
Exactly.
what did that do? And oh, and you're on a boat, and people say, "Wow, did you see that?"
Yeah,
It's just
it's a pattern interrupt. It's kind of like, okay, hello, a little bit
Yeah.
of surprise, because nature is like that, you
right.
know. The butterfly can't stay on the same flower all day long. It's got to hop.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's also how I try to, use the mixing techniques of Stephanie's voice is to do that same sort of thing, but as a choir effect of various different voices coming in, or an angelic choir,
Mm.
and it would, create that similar type of a thing where if you listen on the end of the Dream Blossom, it starts around about 4 or 5 minutes, where we call it the dream
Dream
sequence. It's
sequence,
like the
yeah.
second half of the track, and you'll hear how she comes in and out, weaving with her vocal tracks,
Yeah.
and it's really, I think we
Yeah,
achieved the effect
right.
that we wanted.
We're careful of each other when we're recording. Like he doesn't want to go over me, I don't want to go over him.
Hmm.
Blend, we have to make sure the blend is correct.
You
Yeah,
said blend.
Blend.
yeah,
Big
big
blend
blend.
radio.
You got to blend it. The best wine is blended.
Yes, right.
But yeah, but it's true, because that's how you get your dynamics, you
Yes.
know? And so
Yeah.
it's really, it's like a dance. It is like transcendence, how you do that with your music for sure. So there's other instruments in there. Tell us a little bit about that.
What
'Cause I
do
know you've
we?
got the guitar, the synthesizer. There's
Yes.
some that I don't know how to pronounce. So I'll leave it to you.
Hungarian Citera.
Yeah, it's
Maybe he'll
a
get it.
yeah, let
Oh,
me
I
And
mention.
want to see it's Hungarian. Now you're going to my roots. I got some Hungarian going on.
good. I
Yeah.
have a lot of I would have brought it too. They're all on the wall. I have a lot of like indigenous shakers that I got from travels. I kept closely with me the whole entire time, especially when I was doing indigenous pieces. My shaker that I got from the Pataxó Indians in Belo Horizonte, Brazil.
Oh, wow.
That stayed like right here with me the whole time because I really feel for them. I really do. So I have pieces of their jewelry. I have things around me just to bring their energy closer to me. So that shaker was very prominent in this and very, very close to me, their shaker. Authentic.
Getting, instruments, indigenous instruments and shakers. Like when we lived in Africa, there was just the different,
Amazing.
oh, I wish Nancy was here so she could. There's these different, like you'll have a bow. It looks like a bow with a string and a couple strings here, and then like the little. I'm not gonna say kalimba, but it's like little finger pianos that you out of coconuts, and
Those two, yeah.
yeah, all kinds of things, and you learn to play them, and
Yeah.
it's exciting because you've like the instruments normally. If you think back to the beginning of instrumentation, are what is around you. So it is very connected to nature.
Yes, and the people that made them, and the
Hmm.
vibe of it, and the frequency of it too is very important. So yeah, we
Yeah.
have the shakers. We have my shell ankle bracelets is in there.
Oh, see, now we had that in Africa, and especially the
Yeah,
Zulus did that a lot.
the Irish
Bodran,
drum.
yeah,
We had the big African drum
yeah.
that
Cool.
this one over here that's sleeping ate
This
half of
guy.
the hide off of.
Oh, oh my gosh. It's like, oh, isn't this what bones are made of? Those true
Yeah.
bones. Perfect.
But she hands it on occasion and gets sick.
Oh
And then
my gosh.
authentic
Yeah, let's
instrument
see this. Let's see this.
So
background.
this instrument
Yeah.
is called the Citera. It's from Hungary. This was custom made. My father actually brought this back from Hungary, and it has 18 strings on it, and
Wow.
it's
Don't knock her out. You got more
yeah.
albums to do.
Boom.
So it has 18 strings on it, and it's kind of like a zither in that you play, by holding these strings down, and it has a very unique sound.
I want one. I want
Yeah,
one. I want one, and I want one. I
yeah.
love it. I love that because it's kind of neat because it's not like a sitar, but it's not like it's like a little bit of like the auto harp, all of that put together, and a
Right.
mandolin, like all of it. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
now,
so
could you play like slide guitar kind of style with that? Do you think?
it's not like slide, because you basically, like, so if you have hold on. So the difference is if you are using a steel slide, it's not quite the same, so if you use a
Yeah.
slide, it would be like,
Yeah, it loses
so
something.
it's a cool effect, but it's not quite as cool as, you know what I mean?
I
It,
want one.
it's more jangly. It's more jangly when you play it,
Yeah.
like this, as
Oh,
opposed to with a
Stopping the
a s-
vibration the
yeah,
slide
yeah,
is doing.
and
Yeah.
it's
then you
got a tribal vibe to it too, man. It's like you could totally go. You could just go, yeah, like the
right.
rhythm, and I could hear like the yeah. Like,
So what I try to do is I
oh,
create like a percussive kind of a cool, like an ancient tribal kind of a groove.
yeah.
And then on top of that, I'll put like, additional 12 string or whatever, mandolin or something to
Ooh,
give it that really cool sound.
I
And
want one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's it. That's it. I found a new instrument, and
Yeah.
that's that. I want one. That is so super
Then we
cool.
use, like rain stick,
Nice. So you could say that your music is global music too, world music.
It is
Yeah,
global. It
yeah,
is
Yeah.
global. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, everything that we have, I think we put on it, like bells and bowls, and the crystal bowls are on
I
there to
love
get
those.
frequency going. We use those according to mode and chakra. Tibetan bowls. I'm looking at some now. I mean, if you just like tour here.
Are you guys going to open a music museum? Yeah, an instrument museum just now. But to me, that's important to show or to show not just like visually, but like what you're doing is cool, but to also for people to hear different sounds. Cool.
Yeah, and it gets you going.
Yeah,
I have a friend who does these on Facebook. She'll light sage, and I think she's smoking all kinds of interesting things. And then she's like, "Here, we're doing this," and then I'm like, "I can smell it over here." No.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Light up my house with sage and sweetgrass like
Mhm.
almost daily.
Yeah, we
And
use it.
Yeah.
have a smell, but I'm not smoking.
Yeah.
But
It's interesting you should mention that because before we record,
I always
she
clear the
out
room,
yeah.
and
Get the devils out. Yeah.
so I'm,
Yeah.
I'm in it. I'm
Yeah,
in the
because
process.
because you know why is because and when we were working with Giovanni Hidalgo too, is that bring in these like instruments that are
Heavy
so
vibes.
intense,
Yeah.
that it's a good idea to clear out the energy and bring in your own,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
sometimes with these things you're not quite sure what you're inviting in,
Well, you
it,
invite good people and good vibes. It's
yeah,
always
that's
good.
the intention
But
is
But
just
but this is really true. I mean, I don't know. We've lived in haunted places where
oh,
I
yeah,
just burn sage and you know, and then
yeah,
I even put like salt and around the edges and things. But it's about I think even if that doesn't really work and it's could be just like a thing that's passed down, but it's been passed down through how many civilizations around the world. So there's something to it. I think it's an intention. It's like setting the intention.
it sets your mind too. You know,
Mhm.
yeah,
what you invite and what you don't invite makes a big difference.
yeah,
Do you think things can latch on to instruments, right? So if you tour somewhere, right, and you're on stage and there's like a negative person or negative something, like maybe you play a haunted place, right? That's negative, like somebody that's trapped. They could just be like a cling onto your guitar. Now that's a whole album.
That out. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
you have to not take it with you.
We
Yeah.
went, I think it was a couple of years back. It was the Grateful Dead's 50th anniversary. So we went up to Chicago and they were playing Soldier Field over there. And before the show, they had a museum of regalia from the Grateful Dead. And in a glass case was Jerry Garcia's guitar.
Oh,
And as you get close to it, I literally felt the vibe and the energy coming off of it.
I was
So
crying.
so when you say
That's wild.
it can get attached, some energy can get attached.
Of course,
Absolutely, yeah,
of course.
100%,
That's why if you see a
100%.
medium, they say bring someone's object, so
Right.
Yeah,
they feel the energy of that being of that person.
I take rocks if I have to go to a dentist. That's what I did. I they had to take my wisdom teeth and pass my wisdom off to somewhere else apparently. And I'm terrible. Like I have to be dying of pain to go to anything medical. I mean, even the COVID shot is like, what? No. But the
yeah, I
the
Yeah.
hear you.
rocks really help. It's like, you have the energy of the rocks and hell, it's like I know worry stones came from something,
Yeah, we're
you
into
know.
Yeah,
crystals
we're
too.
superstitious.
Well, but these are all parts of
Yeah.
nature. It's about connecting with nature, so I don't, but I think also about instruments being attached. Well, you can go to places like we hike in nature and you can go to places where you can feel the ancestral people, animal ancestry, plant ancestry. I can tell you if I get crabby out of the blue, just all of a sudden crabby or upset about something, down the road, lo and behold, it happens every time. If it's like weird, like sadness, they're cutting down a tree.
Ah,
And I will know before, like, and I don't know what's going on until I'll hear something. I'll look around. I'm like, you just cut the tree down. And you
wow.
Yeah.
can feel it. But that's if you're connected to it. Now I'm
Yeah,
really going to get weird emails from people, but
yeah,
well, I mean, how can you not?
Yeah, you feel it. You do feel it.
You do, and I
Yeah.
think instruments do, and instruments know if, like, okay, when we had our band, you could feel a musician come in with their ego, literally. Like everybody could feel it. It's like a vibe, and you are not going to have a good musical experience. You are not going to have a lot of rock and roll and blues maybe, but it's not going to be,
Yeah.
on
you
the
can hear
spiritual.
when, yeah,
Stuff though, and try to
Yeah,
ignore them,
yeah,
but it's not
yeah.
easy.
the
Well,
ego thing. And that's what I think also with what you're doing with the saging and all of that is you're clearing out the ego.
You got to set your own
yeah.
space. It's your own
You
scene.
know what's
So
interesting too is that instruments themselves were made from wood. Wood came from trees.
Hmm.
Trees had to get cut down. So when I'm really sensitive to instruments and so when I get a new instrument, I really thank the you know source of where it came from to provide me the opportunity to try to honor the spirit of the wood and the tree that it came from, to create something nice from, something, special from it, as opposed to just treating it like, oh, that's a crap guitar, let me just keep it in the closet. So I tried to honor the instrument and the wood that was used, the source of where it came from.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. And I think it's so important now too. We look at reclaimed wood, and, when people go, they demolish like casinos and houses, and, oh, just tear it down. And, I'm like, there's stuff in there that it could be salvaged. A tree died for that, or, or something was quarried out of the earth.
Oh, we're so wasteful.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We're so wasteful.
Well, we got to stop that. Apparently, we're getting better, I think, as a civilization and understanding, but we're a
One,
little late.
one thing I wish that they would stop doing is just producing those little pellets that make
Those plastic. Ugh.
because there's enough plastic already here. We don't need to make
We don't
more.
need more, yeah.
You know?
Oh, the plastic.
Yeah, I mean, can't we recycle that? I know we need it for some medical things. There are some true,
But
real uses.
we have enough that you could just recycle
something new.
the stuff that's here
Yeah.
already.
Melt it.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's
Yeah.
better
Like
solutions.
that beautiful ocean that's behind you. I mean, if you stop
That's
to,
New Zealand.
oh yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
Pixabay.
Literally.
I should have used one of ours, but yeah, no, it's calming. It just,
Yeah.
but then you see trash, and that's actually how we started our tour. I mean, we've been covering all subjects, the blend, but we started our tour in the Everglades. We were doing this whole thing on national parks, and it was just so interesting, because we went to the Everglades. We're seeing all these issues about how people just get on a boat and tear up the area, don't know how to drive a boat or steer a boat, captain a boat, whatever, but they don't have a license. You can buy a boat and get in the water and do whatever. And so we were in the Everglades learning all these things, and went on the Hinga Trail. It's a very easy, accessible trail where you'll see gators and birds and cormorants and the Hinga birds, obviously. And there was a bunch of gators, and a kid dropped. I know everyone, you're going to hear this on the show every week. We haven't stopped talking about it, but this child just drops his soda can in the swamp. Now it's among gators, who's going to get it? And the parents didn't say anything to him. They just let it happen. So we're like, we got to do something. So there's this trash that we're doing. And then there's just the trash of what's happening in a very general. I mean, look what's washing up in all the islands and inside birds with all the plastic and everything. So we physically know we're throwing a cigarette out of the car, a cigarette butt. We physically know when we throw a piece of trash out. So that can stop. But we aren't, the landfills and all of that. We've got to get to coexisting with nature, and just,
But it's the production that's the problem more than people.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I feel bad if I don't recycle? Of course I'm going to recycle, but why am I in that position where it's up to me to do all the recycling when you're making the product on a multi-billion-dollar level?
Yeah, I think the bottom line is
And
that
not paying taxes on it.
Yeah, but stop that billion-dollar production
Yeah,
and make a better product that's environmentally correct. Don't put the guilt on me, the burden on me. And I'll take it, of course, because I'm an earth person. But that's not fair. Even it's not right that we have to be like feeling bad about our product. I'm trying to slowly use better products, and I have, but especially, I don't want to promote anything, but if you go to Target, they have good resealable, recyclable plastic bags, and little by little I'll buy them, but they're expensive. And then I bought I bought a different recyclable saran wrap the other day, and it won't function.
See, that's the balance. And there's a lot of companies trying to do the right thing. Even for laundry, there's the now washing sheets that are environmentally better than the plastic pods and all that stuff. So, I mean, there's companies creating good things, but it's also how much are we doing and consuming? How much do we really need? Do we really need that product? You know, being on the road full time, we really realized we basically could live on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and wine and
Yeah.
cheese, you know,
Right.
but but you really don't need that much.
Right.
Right.
Right. We have too much.
Right.
It's too
Yeah.
much.
Where does our happiness come from?
Right.
Well, the
It
thing
doesn't
is,
come
like,
from
there's
that.
other parts of the world that are more hip than we are. Like in Iceland, they recycle
Oh, they're
almost
great there,
everything.
yeah.
They're very environmentally conscious. I think they
Mm.
have to be because they're on volcanic geothermally active ground. But they're really very advanced in terms of their sensitivities to our planet, whereas over here we're more consumer driven and we're less environmentally conscious. So I think through our music and through your radio program and things, we have a voice, however little it is. If we reach 2 or 3 people and change our consciousness, maybe it'll spread like a happy song, and just
It's a ripple. Now we go to waves in New Zealand. I
yeah,
chose New Zealand because New Zealand is really good about the environment too. They're really trying as well. And they
yeah,
let women lead.
yeah.
So we like that too.
Greedy nation. We're a
Yeah,
very greedy nation.
yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah. But I think the children are doing, a lot. The kids, the youth, not just, children, teens are
yeah,
standing up and doing
Yeah.
so much, and we got to support them because they're thinking and I mean, they're the ones coming after us, and we definitely didn't leave it better for them.
I feel sorry for the generations. That bothers me. That worries me. When you're in your moment of that beautiful nature, you can't help but have empathy for it as well because you think, my God, is it going to be here?
Yeah. Oh man. So that's, Nancy and I traveling, going to parks and public lands and being in parks, it's like the more you do it and when you see biodiversity work at its best,
yeah,
then
yeah,
you really understand the full spectrum. And the biodiversity, what we're seeing now is not what it was 20
Right.
years ago, 100 years ago. Nancy is, we lived in Kenya we went there in the mid 70s, late 70s, lived out there and, would see just teams of wildlife, zebras, giraffe, impala, warthogs, crocodiles, ibis. I mean, we could probably get like 30 to 40 different species of animals at one watering hole. That's not including all the fish and the amphibians, and, the plants. But now, if you see 5 to 10, you're really lucky.
yeah.
But we'd
Interesting.
go there now thinking it's great.
Oh, it's still a beautiful world. I just, let's keep it that way. We need beautiful world, beautiful people, and we got to keep going forward in a positive direction.
It's interesting you use the word biodiversity. That's one of the lyrics.
Well, that's in the rainforest,
Yeah.
and they keep destroying it. Where is it going to go?
Yeah, and the biodiversity, because everything lives off of each other, the web of life.
Yeah.
Biodiversity. Well, the other is biophilia.
Oh,
Okay.
Now look that up, and I found out there's like a whole center for biophilia, and it's about being in the space and feeling the bio. It's like understanding what goes where, and it's biodiversity, but it's the emotional biodiversity, and it's actually the feeling and the connectivity. It's like the spider web of it all.
We have that. We all have the ability to have that as well. It shouldn't be, stripped from you as a human being.
I'm a biophiliac.
Okay, good.
That's my
I'm proud of you.
I love it. Oh, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you both. I mean, we've talked about all kinds of things today. Who knew? But now you're ending up on our tree show because, that's the thing. So I think, what song would you like I think we've got to close with, a tree song now because we were talking about it. We talked about the wind. We've got,
What have you played of Dream Blossom? It's a little long, but it's
let's play Dream Blossom because that's what we've talked about a lot. And you know what? Right now we're in fall season, which I think is winter's spring,
yeah,
so we are looking forward to the cherry blossoms coming in spring
yeah,
and deer. That's so cool. That's such a beautiful visual of
yeah,
cherry blossoms and deer, you
yeah,
know?
in the
That's
mood.
awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
It's beautiful. So everyone, I want to give you the websites again. Go to Dennis-Haklar.com, and that's Haklar. SteffieMoonlady.com, that's Steffie, Steffie. And of course, it's on Amazon, Apple, all those places, Spotify, you got it. So get it there and get the CD. Get the physical. Do you have a CD player? Get one. There it is. But also we want to thank our sponsor today, which is Margot Carrera. She's a fine art nature photographer. She really takes beautiful images of nature around the world. She has all kinds of gifts like shawls and prints. And so go check out her online gallery. It's CarreraFineArtGallery.com. And of course, keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. We air Monday through Friday. And you would have loved Margot, and she would have loved to be on the show with you. We have conversations like this all the time with her. She would have loved this. If I'd known we were going to do this, I would have invited her, but maybe next time. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Take care. All the best.
Far in the east comes the dawning, emerging sun lies soft petals gently settle, petals dance, crimson snow, true romance, shimmer and glow. Sparkle, glisten, dream, dance and sing, dance and sing, dance and sing, dance and sing, growing roots, fruits produce, all in tune, gone too soon, reflected by the moon. Joy and sorrow, dreams of tomorrow. Dreams live on forever, deep inside. You're having dreams. Thank you.